Great, Michael, to see you at Seaford College, and obviously you've been here. I think it's your second time here because you saw your son play against us for Hampton, and obviously Hampton won that day. But it's so kind of you come down for the dinner here this evening. And obviously we first met back in the sort of mid-90s when you came to Saracens in 96. What's your sort of memory of that time when you come in, joined in 96, an English club?
It's quite a big step for us going back to 96 because my wife and I, we just got married, and the year before when we decided that we were getting married and where we were going to live, she's Italian, I'm Australian, where do you go? And the opportunity came to go to Saracens, and we said, let's give that a go for a few years and see how that goes. So we sort of both picked up our lives and came here in 96, and we're still here. So everything, this is the only place we've lived as a married couple, and raising three boys here, who all speak with an English accent, which is quite disappointing, really. But we'll sort that out. We had it was quite tough initially to come just be thrown into a squad that was some fairly. You guys have been there for quite some time. And I remember, Philippe Salah and myself came in, and it was you're just thrown in there, and it was right at the start of professionalism. So nobody knew what that meant. Did that mean turning up at 9 and going home at 5? Well, not really, no. And a lot of guys were still working or studying and things like that. So it was really just a toe in the water. It was sort of semi-amateur still. But then it gradually evolved the next year, and we had a great year the final year, which was my final year here. And then I went straight into work, and I'm still
here. Do you think
here.
the game had totally gone professional in your second year at Saracens? Do you think
it had moved on markedly from the first year? We went from training at 7 o'clock at night 3 times a week to actually training starting at 9 o'clock in the morning and doing sometimes 2 sessions a day. One was sort of weights or fitness, and the other one was ball work, etc. So it was a huge level up from the year before. But still, when you compare it to today,
the intensity is different.
It's moved on, and rugby's still a very young sport as far as being a professional sport's concerned. So there's still a lot of teething problems, even though we're 23 years into it now.
Would you like to play in the professional area, as right from the youngster all the way through? Have you had a chance now looking back?
It's a good question because when I look at Dan Carter and those sort of guys earning €1 million a year, yes, I would. But I probably wouldn't change it for some of the memories and some of the tours that I had with the Australian team and others, which was completely amateur. And you'd take leave from work or leave from your studies and go away for 3 months with 25 good mates and play for your country, and that was pretty good fun. But we got paid Zach, and it's I wouldn't change those memories for doing what say Dan and all those guys did. But I was lucky; I straddled both, albeit just for 2 years in at Saracens. But I look at the life that the guys have now and the sheer sort of physical brutality of some of the games, and the week in, week out, it's your job. We had a pretty good time, and even at Saracens we were still sort of having a pretty good time.
Absolutely.
Of which you were at the forefront of.
We won't delve onto that one
too much. We'll leave it
We'll leave that. But obviously, your 2 boys are playing lots of schoolboy rugby, and my lads are involved in schoolboy rugby. I mean, what do you think about the intensity of schoolboy rugby at the moment? It's a pretty hard level, isn't it? It's a high level.
It is, and particularly once you get sort of past 14 or 15-year-olds, they're big kids now. And it's every week's quite intense, and it's physical. And there's kids that have been in the gym and they're sort of trying to find out how tough they are, and I keep telling my sons, try and run into the gaps as opposed to running into people and seeing how strong you are. But you can't stop boys doing that, and it is quite tough. You just got to, as parents, we try and guide our kids as best we can, and if they tend to be doing too much, we let them know. But they're pretty sensible.
I suppose the final question, obviously, for Michael, what you achieved in rugby is immense, and obviously your story is incredible, and obviously your career since you retired from rugby as well. And what advice would you give to a young schoolboy who wants to be a professional rugby? player, who's 13, 14 years old, what advice would you give them?
Pick up a tennis racket or a golf stick.
Yeah.
They're the sports.
Yeah.
Nobody's, they pay a lot of money. They're played in nice places, and nobody's trying to beat you up every time you catch the ball.
Yeah.
No, seriously, as I've said to my boys, they've played rugby and football and cricket and golf and all the sports, and it's up to them. So as job as a parent is just to introduce them to all the different things that they want to do, whether it's chess or debating or whatever, and support them in that. And the fact that all three of them play a bit of rugby is great, and it's a great team sport. And so, to a young kid who's 13 and is pretty good, I would say the most important thing is you've got plenty of time and enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, go and do something else. If it's not fun and at that age, and don't take it too seriously. There's plenty of time to do that later on, and just be careful with gym work at that age and all those sort of things. You've just got to have people that guide you correctly, and my main one is to enjoy it and have a childhood.
And have a childhood as well. Very wise words. Well, Michael, thank you so much for
thanks for having me.
Look forward to the evening later, and it's an absolute pleasure.